Victini produces infinite energy to share with those who touch it. Snivy photosynthesizes sunlight to move more sharply. Servine hides in the shadows to avoid being detected. Serperia only reveals its full power to opponents it respects. Tepig blows fire from its snout when it gets excited. The fire inside Pignite burns stronger when it eats berries. Embor uses the flames on its chin to intimidate its foes. Oshawott uses the Skalkop on its stomach to break hard berries. Dewott trains strictly to master its double Skalshop technique. Samurott can silence its enemies with a single glare. Patrat stores food in its cheeks and keeps watch for days. Watchog intimidates predators by making its body patterns glow. The long fur on Lilipup's face works like a sensitive radar. Herdier has a black cape of fur that is as hard as rock. Stoutland rescues people stranded in blizzards with its warm fur. Purloin steals from people and acts cute to get forgiveness. Leopard vanishes into the shadows to ambush its prey silently. Pansage shares the leaf on its head to relieve weariness. Simisage attacks enemies with its tail covered in sharp thorns. Pansia lives in volcanic caves and loves roasting berries. Simisear keeps a fire burning inside its body by eating sweets. Panpour stores water in its head tuft to water plants. Simipour scatters water from its tail to nourish the surroundings. Munna floats in the air and eats the dreams of people. The mist coming from Mushana takes the shape of dreams. Pidove is not very intelligent and often forgets commands. Tranquil believes that deep forests are the only peaceful place. The male unpheasant swings its head plumage to threaten rivals. Blitzel recharges its electricity when lightning strikes. Zebstrika runs at the speed of lightning when it storms. Roggenrola has a hexagonal ear that acts as an energy core. Boldore overflows with energy, and its orange crystals grow hot. Gigalith absorbs solar rays to fire energy from its mouth. Woobat leaves a heart-shaped mark on walls using suction. Swoobat emits ultrasonic waves that can destroy concrete. Drillbur puts its claws together to dig through the ground like a drill. Excadrill creates maze-like tunnels deep underground. Audino uses the feelers on its ears to hear heartbeats. Timbour carries lumber around to train its muscles. Gerda boasts about its muscles and carries steel beams. Conkeldurr uses concrete pillars as walking canes instead of crutches. Tempole vibrates its cheeks to call its friends with sound waves. Palpitoad vibrates the bumps on its head to create waves. Seismitoad punches rocks with fists that can trigger tremors. Throw weaves its belt from vines to increase its power. Sork trains in the mountains and punches trees to get stronger. Sewaddle makes its own clothes by sewing leaves together. Swadloon wraps itself in leaves to protect against the cold. Levani weaves warm clothing for small Pokémon using silk. Venipede has a bite that injects a potent poison. Whirlipede spins its body like a tire to crash into foes. Scolipede chases down prey with quick movements and toxic claws. Cottony drifts on the wind to find mates during the rainy season. Whimsicott slips through cracks and leaves balls of cotton behind. The leaves on Petilil's head taste very bitter to bugs. The flower on Lilligant's head gives off a relaxing fragrance. Basculin is very violent and constantly fights with other schools. Sandile moves through the desert sand as if it were water. The black membrane of Krokorok protects its eyes from the bright sun. Crocodile has jaws strong enough to crush a car. Darumaka tucks its limbs into its body to sleep and stay warm. Darmanitan has an internal fire that burns at 1,400 degrees Celsius. Maractus scares away bird Pokémon by shaking its prickly body. Dwebble melts holes in rocks with a spray to make its home. Crustle competes with others to see whose rock shell is stronger. Scraggy pulls its rubbery skin up to its neck to reduce damage. Scrafty spits acid at opponents and kicks with its baggy skin legs. Sigalith never sleeps as it guards the ancient city memories. Yamask carries a mask that represents the face it had when it was human. Kofagrigus traps grave robbers inside its body and turns them into mummies. Tirtoga is an ancient fossil Pokémon that can dive extremely deep. Caracosta has jaws strong enough to chew up steel beams and rocks. Archon cannot fly well and prefers to glide from tree to tree. Archeops runs at 40 kilometers per hour to build up speed for flight. Trubbish was born from a chemical reaction between garbage bags. Garbodor consumes garbage and turns it into poison inside its body. Zorua changes its appearance to trick people and hide its true form. Zoroark creates terrifying illusions to protect its pack. Minccino loves cleanliness and uses its tail as a broom. Cinccino has fur coated in oil that repels enemy attacks. Gothita stares at things that only it can see. Gothorita uses starlight to hypnotize people and Pokémon. Gothitelle can see the future by observing the movement of stars. Solosis survives in any environment thanks to its special liquid coating. Duosion has two brains that sometimes disagree on what to do. Reuniclus uses its jelly arms to crush boulders with psychic power. Ducklet is better at swimming than flying. Swanna dances on the water at dusk in a beautiful display. Vanillite is born from icicles bathed in morning sunlight. Vanillish freezes its enemies by blowing air at -100 degrees Celsius. Vanillux creates heavy blizzards when its two heads are angry. Deerling changes its scent and fur color with the seasons. The plants growing on Sawsbuck's horns change with the seasons. Emolga glides from tree to tree while discharging electricity. Carablast spits an acidic liquid to melt the shells of its prey. Escavalier flies at high speeds and stabs with its sharp lances. Fungus mimics a Pokeball to lure prey into its spores. Amoonguss shows off its Pokeball patterns but doesn't fool many people. Frillish paralyzes prey with poison and drags them down to the deep. Jellicent makes ships vanish and builds castles from them on the seafloor. Alamomala floats in the sea and heals injured Pokémon with its membrane. Joltik is too small to make its own electricity, so it steals it from outlets. Galvantula traps prey in webs made of electrically charged silk. Ferroseed shoots spikes to defend itself while absorbing minerals from rocks. Ferrothorn hangs from ceilings and attacks prey with steel spikes. The two gears of Clink must spin together to generate energy. Clang communicates with others by changing the direction of its spin. The red core of Klinklang spins rapidly to charge up energy for attacks. One Tynamo is weak, but a school can create a powerful electric shock. Electric coils around its prey and shocks them before eating. Electros crawls out of the ocean to hunt prey on the shore. Elgyem appeared in a desert 50 years ago from a UFO crash. Behiyem flashes its fingers to control the memories of its enemies. Litwick burns with a ghostly flame that feeds on life energy. Lampent wanders through cities, searching for spirits to fuel its fire. Being burned by Chandelure's fire leaves the body, but destroys the spirit. Axew crushes berries with its tusks, which grow back if broken. Fracture fights intensely to sharpen its tusks on rocks. Haxorus is kind, but will cut down enemies with its axe-like jaws if angered. When Cubchoo is healthy, its nose mucus is thick and sticky. Beartic freezes its breath to create fangs and claws of ice. Cryogonal is made of ice crystals and melts away if it gets too hot. Shelmet closes the lid of its shell to defend against attacks. Axelgor sheds its shell to become light and fight with ninja-like speed. Stunfisk hides in the mud and shocks prey that step on it. Mayanfu trains constantly to master its elegant fighting combos. Mienshao uses the long fur on its arms like a whip to slap enemies. Hydreigon absorbs sunlight with its wings to warm its cold blood. Golett is a clay statue brought to life by ancient energy. Golurk flies at Mach 1 by retracting its legs and firing rockets. Poniard sharpens its blades on river stones to stay ready for battle. Bisharp commands a group of poniards and finishes off the prey they weaken. Bouffalond charges head first, protected by the thick, fluffy hair on its head. Rooflet challenges opponents stronger than itself to become brave. Braviary fights endlessly to protect its friends and has many battle scars. Vullaby protects its weak body with bones it finds on the ground. Mandibuzz makes a nest out of bones and decorates herself with them. Heatmore breathes fire through its tongue to melt the steel shells of Durant. Durant covers its body in steel armor to protect itself from predators. Dano cannot see, so it bites everything to find out what it is. The two heads of Zwilus hate each other and fight over food. Hydreigon flies on 6 wings and destroys everything it sees as an enemy. Larvesta lives at the base of volcanoes and spits fire from its horns. Volcarona replaces the sun with its fiery wings during volcanic winters. Cobalion has a heart of steel and protects Pokémon from humans. Terrakion has enough power to destroy a castle wall in one blow. Virizion moves like the wind and cuts enemies with sharp horns. Tornadus flies through the sky at high speeds, creating massive storms. Thunderous drops lightning bolts and causes forest fires wherever he goes. Reshiram burns the world with fire to help those who seek truth. Zekrom creates lightning with its tail to assist those who seek ideals. Landorus visits the lands to make the crops grow strong and healthy. Kyurem freezes its own body with powerful ice energy, waiting for a hero. Keldeo runs across water by ejecting it from its hooves. Meloetta sings a melody that can control the feelings of those who hear it. Genesect was an ancient hunter, modified by Team Plasma with a cannon.